Zenless Zone Zero, the highly anticipated urban fantasy action RPG from Hoyoverse, is set to release on the 4th of July 2024 for PC, PlayStation 5, iOS, and Android. This game promises an immersive experience with its unique blend of cyberpunk and supernatural elements, set in the futuristic city of New Eridu. This video aims to kind of cover everything that is so far known about the game, nothing in too much detail. I'll make separate videos on that sort of thing, but just a general overview for people who don't really know what to expect from this new Hoyoverse title. So we'll start with the world of New Eridu. New Eridu is the last remaining urban civilization after a supernatural disaster known as the Hollows ravaged the world. The Hollows are gateways to twisted dimensions filled with ethereal monsters, and the city's inhabitants have learned to extract resources from them, leading to a thriving industry and fierce competition among various factions. So basically, solo leveling. But let's not focus on that, let's focus now on the gameplay and combat. Zenless Zone Zero combines real-time action combat with roguelike elements. Players take on the role of a proxy, a professional guide who delves into the Hollows on behalf of different factions. Players navigate through a tile-based map, encountering various challenges, puzzles, and battles along the way. The combat system is fast-paced and cinematic, allowing players to control a party of 3 characters who can swap positions and perform various attacks, including basic attacks, special attacks, chain attacks, dash attacks, and ultimate abilities. So character builds and team compositions play a crucial role in your success with this combat system, which moves us on to how the characters work. Basically, all the characters that you'll be pulling for in the gacha system are broken up into different factions. At launch, Zenless Zone Zero will feature 14 playable characters, each belonging to one of the 5 major factions, and those are as follows. Gentle House, an odd-job agency led by Nicole Demara, known for taking on various tasks including exploring the Hollows. Belobog Heavy Industries, a faction renowned for their toughness and specialized heavy machinery for hollow exploration. Victoria Housekeeping, a group of maids and butlers offering high-quality services reminiscent of the old civilization. Faction Unknown. Little is known about this faction, hence the name, except that a character named Soldier 11 is part of it. And finally, Section 6, a sub-unit of the Hollow Special Operations, a more official organization. Players can expect to uncover stories and motivations of these factions as they progress through the game's narrative. And if you're looking for a video that explains all of the characters in detail, go ahead and click the card in the top right of the screen. If it's not there yet, then I haven't made the video yet, but it will be made, so come back to the channel and look for that in like maybe a day or 2. However, for now, I'll name all of the characters as I show them on the screen in terms of the ones that will be being released on launch. Nekomiya, Lycaon, Soldier 11, Koleda, Grace, Ellen, Rena, Zhu Yuan, Anby, Billy, Nicole, Anton, Corin, Ben Bigger, and Soukaku. Now let's move on to the progression systems. So, just like many other gacha games, you'll be exploring areas, completing main story quests, side quests, as well as defeating enemies in various difficulties, all to gather up a bunch of different types of materials in order to upgrade your characters in various ways, such as leveling them up, upping the effectiveness of their various abilities and skills, and also leveling up and refining the weapons and equipment they will use, which will be the main relying factor of how strong your characters are. It's worth noting, however, that since this game is action combat orientated, there will be some level of mechanical awareness and skill required in order to defeat the highest level content, which is where you'll access the best possible resources for late game upgrades on your character's abilities, skills, and their weapons and equipment. Now, for the sake of people who have never played a game like this ever before, basically, players can level up their characters by earning experience points through completing missions, defeating enemies, and other activities. As characters gain levels, they unlock new abilities, increase their stats, and become more powerful. Characters in Zenless Zone Zero can equip various weapons and gear, each with their own unique stats and abilities. Players can upgrade their gear by obtaining materials from hollow explorations, crafting, or through the gacha system. Upgrading gear enhances its stats and unlocks additional effects or abilities. Also, each character in the game has a unique set of skills and talents that can be unlocked and upgraded. Skills are active abilities that players can use in combat, while talents provide passive bonuses or effects. Players can allocate resources to enhance these skills and talents, customizing their characters' playstyles and strengths. Now let's cover all the things you can expect to be doing day 1 in Zenless Zone Zero in terms of the playable content and game modes. So of course you'll obviously have a story mode, where there'll be a main narrative-driven campaign where players progress through various areas, fight enemies, and take on bosses, as well as consume the story. There'll also be something called Holo Deep Dives. This is the main roguelike game mode in Zenless Zone Zero. Players enter randomly generated dungeons with customizable teams of 3 characters and 1 Bang Boo, a pet-like companion. The goal is to navigate through the dungeon, encounter challenges, gain buffs, and defeat the boss at the end to earn rewards, and it features a unique corruption mechanic where players can accumulate debuffs as they progress. Basically, that means that you'll be able to make it harder for better rewards. There'll also be something called Holo Zero, a separate roguelike game mode similar to the simulated universe in Honkai Star Rail. Players select a team of 3 characters and venture into a Holo Zone, collecting random buffs and fighting enemies across different zones with the objective of defeating the final boss. This mode resets weekly and has its own progression system with weekly commissions and a paid license pass. Then you have Rally Commissions, a weekly mode with combat challenges. After clearing the initial stages, players unlock a weekly stage to earn rewards like EXP, currencies, and materials. There'll also be resource bosses, instance-based stages where players spend battery charges, which is basically the game's stamina system, to obtain various resources and materials for character and weapon progression. These include combat simulations, where you can farm EXP for weapons and characters as well as ascension materials, driver validation, which is gear farming, expert challenges where you can farm for materials for character ascension and skill upgrades, and reckless challenges, similar to Echo of War in Honkai Star Rail. There'll also be arcade minigames, things like snake and block puzzles, providing a change of pace from the main game modes. Also, the game will include co-op multiplayer. While details are limited, hoyoverse have confirmed that Zenless Zone Zero will feature some sort of co-op multiplayer, which will likely allow players to team up and fight the content together. And now moving on to the gacha system and the game's monetization. Like hoyoverse's previous titles, Zenless Zone Zero will feature a gacha system for obtaining new characters and weapons. Players can use in-game currency and real money to participate in the gacha system, which is a common monetization model in free-to-play games and especially in gacha games. And for those who haven't really played a gacha game before and are interested in this game, well, basically what that means is you'll be spending either real money or earnable currency from the game's gameplay to participate in a kind of gambling mechanic similar to loot boxes in other games. Except in this game, it will be for your characters. Another thing to note for people who haven't really played this sort of game before is that Zenless Zone Zero is cross-platform in its progression, which basically means players can seamlessly switch between devices and continue their progress, consistent across PC, PlayStation 5, iOS, and Android platforms. Now, don't forget, as the release date approaches, hoyoverse is expected to share more details about the game's features, story, and additional content planned for the post-launch updates. Tell me what you think down in the comments. I'm personally very excited for this game, and I want to know if you are too, because it has this unique blend of, genres, and hoyoverse's track record of delving into very high quality games, such as the more recent Honkai Star Rail. Zenless Zone Zero is definitely shaping up to be an exciting addition to the action RPG gacha landscape, giving us something other than Wuthering Waves, which is also an incredible game, by the way. You should go play that too. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down in the comments, or just subscribe, because I'm going to be covering way more Zenless Zone Zero stuff, so your questions will probably be answered by accident. On top of that, go ahead and join my community Discord, where you can ask me questions directly or just chill with my community. We're a great bunch, it's really fun, and we all just love anime and gacha. And also, why not consider clicking one of these videos? The one on the left is about all of the characters, and the one on the right is about which characters you should be pulling. And if there's none there, then you're here too early. Please come back later and I'll put them in. The videos have not been uploaded yet. Thanks for watching.